General tranquility. School vouchers. I am working on another subject that is overly complex to get through. So, during a break, my mind wandered to school vouchers, and I decided to do a quickie on the subject. I have a big problem with vouchers. Not because I'm against private schools, but because they use public money without the legal ties the money has with it in public schools. 1. When a private school accepts a student from a public school, the private school should have to accept any student from that public school district to get a voucher from the district. 1. Because public money for schools requires this for that public school. So that money should require the same thing from any school that accepts it. B. A private school cannot kick out any student for a reason that would not be an acceptable response under the school district rules as arbitrated by the court system within that district. 1. Because public money for schools requires this for that public school. So that money should require the same thing from any school that accepts it. 2. When a private school accepts a voucher of public money, the private school should have to accept that as full tuition. 1. Because public money for schools requires this from public schools. So that money should require the same thing from any school that accepts it. B. For 50 years now, conservatives have kept saying public schools do not need more money to provide an education, that the money that they are getting is enough. 1. Now, if that is true, that the money public schools are getting is enough for a good education, then the public voucher is enough for a private school to provide that education. So, either private schools are overcharging or public schools need more money. Again, because public money for schools requires this from public schools. 1. So that money should require the same thing from any school that accepts it. 3. Any school that teaches any level of science cannot teach things that are not science as a science. A scientific field, even the smallest individual factoid in it, to be accepted must be backed by factoids of other fields of science. Any science that denies the smallest factoid of another field cannot itself be recognized as an established field of science. 1. A lot of physics backs a lot of chemistry, which backs a lot of biology. 2. Most new hypotheses are not fully accepted until other fields of science back up the hypothesis. 3. Which is why evolution is so widely accepted, because it is backed by other fields of science, with facts from the other fields justifying both evolution and those bits of science from other fields in millions of interconnected ways. 4. Creationism and intelligent design is not an acceptable field of science because it denies established factoids, larger facts, long-proven theories, and even fundamental laws. A. Does not accept the age of the universe, for it runs counter to its age of the universe. B. Does not accept physics, because nearly everything about that field of science is counter to creationism. C. The same can be said for most of science as a whole, because it is jam-packed with things that say creationism is flat-out wrong. It is witch-doctor science, not science. B. Science is hundreds of fields that support itself in various ways, every way imaginable, and in some ways that go even beyond that. C. The same is true of other truths, like history must teach proven history. 4. A private school is allowed to teach a specific religion, but it must be taught as just that, a religion. 1. It cannot be taught as a science. 2. As anything but a small part of history for a small part of the world. But it cannot insist that a student believe in it. 1. Because public money for schools requires this from public schools. So that money should require the same thing from any school that accepts it. So ends my short on school vouchers. If a school wishes to accept a public voucher, then it must act like a public school in several ways. There are more arguments, more details that can be gone over, but these are my highlights. A. A private school should have to accept any student. B. A private school cannot kick out a student for a reason that would not be acceptable for a public school. C. The voucher must be accepted as the full tuition. D. A private school cannot insist that a student believe in any one religion. This is a quick rundown. I am likely to revisit this in the future. Given that conservatives have been trying to destroy public education for 50 years, Trump is going full out on ending public education. He seems to want only private schools to exist, even though public education has been an integral part of America since before we even declared independence. Public schools are integral to an educated public. An educated public is integral to workers who can do jobs that require a solid understanding of basic scientific principles. An educated public is integral for voters to see through the lies of most of the politics that exist these days. And school vouchers that do not require access for all have no right to public money, for the sole reason that it is public money.